Thought I'd play around with the binding a little bit to see if I can help it out. So one thing that's a good technique when you're binding is I sometimes like to do a little bit of animation. So I'm going to hit select this, hit S to keyframe, and then move it up. Let's say I'll remove this animation later, but it just helps to, like, if there's sort of any problem areas that I'm not happy with. I mean, I think that's actually okay. We can leave that. Let's put this back to 0. I was looking at this guy, and I thought that that could be better. So what I might do again is S, set keyframe, go forward, go like this. I might have auto keyframe on. That's what that little red key right there, and then like that, something like that. And that way you can kind of quickly move back and forth and test with it. So what I'm thinking at what would be good is when he bends down, if the shirt didn't kind of penetrate him so much. So I think that the shirt should have less weight on this. So I'm gonna oops. Let's turn that off. And just going to pick an edge here, and let's do a shift period. That's a greater than thing to kind of grow the selection. Yeah, and see, I want to get inside there a little bit more. I might start with this one maybe, and then grow from there. I'll just shift select a couple of these, double click. Something like that. So let's why is it letting me paint skin cluster, paint weights? Oh, I think I want to convert it to vertices, so control right mouse click, two vertices. There we go. So now it converts my selection of vertices. Double click on the paint tool. So we are going to want, so spine, neck. So spine 1, so that's pretty weighted to spine 1, and what I think is actually that we should just put this on the root. So what I'm going to do is just flood this on the root, so 100% of weight on the root. So we've got it on replace, value of 1, flood, turns solid white. And then what we should see is that it should not bend with that anymore, but it's not going to be smooth now. So it's not penetrating, but obviously it's not smooth. So then I will go back and smooth that out. So let's go back to the root and change this to smooth and hit flood a few times. Although I'm not happy with the asymmetry there right now, but let's just look at this. Okay, let's see. So hit it several times. Okay, take a look. So a bunch of that's not moving so well with it. Yeah, it's kind of got to be a little bit of a balance. So I may have gone too far to not give it any weight on the on that spine joint to not go through there. Yeah, and so that it's not. It's working a little kind of okay when he leans back, except for what's happening down here. But it should have some weight on the shirt. So let me just undo back if I can to where we had the selection. Okay, before I flooded. So one thing that might be a good idea too, since I might use these again, is make a selection set, edit, quick select sets. Oh, I have to go to create first, right? Create sets. Quick select set. Just call it, I don't know, belly. The idea there is then I can go edit quick select sets belly, and I can get that selection back real quick if I like that selection. Okay, so let us try this. So let's go back to the paint weights tool. We can see it does have a little bit of weight on the root. And let's just give it more. So instead of flooding with 100%, which was kind of taking it too far, let's change this to add and just do that 0.1 at a time. So I'll flood it a little, like maybe 2. Okay, so it's moving some with it, but not as much. And then let's do like 1 more. And then let's just select the surface and go back to the paint weights tool and smooth that out on that joint. Yeah, it's still not as smooth as I want. I think that I think what I need is more selected. Oh, that's weird. Why is that on the heel? That's concerning. I think I need less of it selected down here and more on the belly. So I'm just going to do Shift to go higher up there. And see, now it's really going up the side here too much. So I guess let's just select it like this instead. Yeah, I'm making it like harder on myself than I probably need to. Maybe grow that by 1. No. Maybe just Control Shift select some of these guys to add that to the selection. Okay, and if I want, I can create another quick select set if you like these. Belly 2. So let's try it again. Add 0.1, flood, flood, flood. Alright, it's starting to get a little bit better. Not happy with this stuff down here, so I'm going to go ahead and let's paint that stuff 100% with the root, because that shouldn't move at all. And I think this is where maybe selecting some edge rows could help us. I don't think, yeah, none of that's, well, some of that stuff might need some weight with the hip, so we might not want to lose that, but let's say at least those, and I'll just Shift period, that's the greater than symbol, get, oh yeah, see, it's grabbing too much. But I think, yeah, most of that stuff probably really shouldn't move with that spine joint at all. I'll deselect this. Control right mouse click, 2 vertices. And let's flood those 100% with the root. And then let's take this whole thing and smooth it and see if we're any better off. Smooth, flood. Okay. I mean, one of the things is you might just have some limits as to how far you can bend that, I mean, I think that this is gonna, some stuff is moving way too much with that. So, okay, here's the other thing we're gonna do. We're gonna go into that spine joint that we're moving, and so this stuff shouldn't move with it at all. So we're gonna replace that with, oops, not opacity value, with 0, because that should not be moving with that spine at all. So we'll get a little bit of a better result. Yeah, at least we get, oh, there's still some here. There we go. Okay, so that cleaned up some of that issue. So I don't think it's, at some point you're going to have to say, okay, I don't get to move it forward anymore. The other thing we should check is this chest affecting that at all? It's not. So at some point, what he's looking okay, leaning back, leaning forward. You might end up with saying, okay, at this point, at some point in moving forward, I don't get to bend that joint anymore. I have to bend him further with that one. So I think this could use a little bit more work, but I'm hoping you're kind of getting this workflow a little bit, and how I'm thinking about it and approaching it so that you can apply it yourself. Don't know what the other problems areas were. Let's take a look at the arms. So I mean, it's all right. It's not like an obvious problem. I feel like you went too far with these arms. So I might just go and let's take a look at this, and let's look at the left shoulder, for example. Scapula. It's interesting that there's nothing on the left shoulder. I mean, to me, that looks like it could be smoothed a little bit. Smooth. Flood. I think that actually helped. Let's compare it with the other side. Yeah, see that you're getting a nicer looking crease there. So that helped a little bit. Anyways, you can go around with some of those other things. So anyways, yeah, if you have any more specific stuff you want to play with, work on it. I don't think I'm not entirely satisfied with where I got the belly. I think it improved a little bit, but I think it's about really getting in there and adjusting some more of those things here. It just might be this sort of fine balance of how much I've got a little bit of a conflict going on. I want him to bend, but I don't want this shirt to totally intersect the body. So it becomes this kind of difficult balancing act where, how much do I get to the shirt? How much do I get to that? I could probably put a little bit more on the shirt. Maybe put like another 0.1 back on that spine joint from here, because it's really not doing it at all. So let's add a 0.1 back to those. Yeah, but then you run into the shirts intersecting again. So back to that balancing act. I think let's give let's do those two. Add 0.1. It's kind of being, well, let's let Smooth clean that up for us, because it's got a little uneven here. But I think if I on that spine thing, maybe I'll flood with Smooth, something like that. Yeah, it's just, it's, you kind of can't entirely win. If you want to move it a lot, then you're going to run. But there's a limit to how much in a real body, you're going to have more spine joints and you'll get more of a curve, but there's only so much the body can bend there. So, anyways, just giving you some ideas of how you can play with it and try to find the right balance for you. Okay, hope this helped. And yeah, if there's any more specific areas you need help with,